What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Gaming with Nimbus. And today we are going to take a look at my N64 collection, because next week Nintendo is going to be releasing their N64 games on their Nintendo Switch online service. Okay, now we've already checking out my Switch collection. We saw my Neo Geo AES collection, we saw my PlayStation collection, and we saw my Game Boy, OG Game Boy collection. So today we're gonna see the N64 collection. But before we do that, check out the graph. Yes, do you see this? There's a ton of you guys watching the videos and aren't yet subscribed to the channel. So I'm gonna take this time for you guys to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and hit the notification button. All the YouTube stuff, you know, that we as YouTubers always ask of you guys, okay? Because when you hit the like button and you subscribe to the channel, it helps us a ton. With that being said, let's get into it.
Let's go.
Alright guys, so we're gonna run through these games. I'm just gonna show you the game, tell you the title, and we're gonna go through them a bit quickly because I have a good amount of games on the N64. I don't have a ton, I don't have a full collection, a full library, a complete library I should say, but I have a couple of games. I have a good amount, okay? So we're gonna go right through and we're gonna go through them very quickly, okay? The first one is A Bug's Life. The next game in my collection is Aero Gauge. The next game in my collection is Aero Fighters Assault. The next game is All-Star Baseball 99. The next game is a great game on the N64, and that's Banjo-Tooie. The next game in my collection is Bass Hunter 64. The next game in my collection is Batman Beyond: The Return of the Joker. The next game in my collection is Battle Tanks. The next game in my collection is Body Harvest. The next game is Bomberman 64. The next game is Bomberman Heroes. The next game in my collection is a great game on the N64, and that's Conker's Bad Fur Day. The next game in my collection is Donald Duck Going Quackers. The next game in my collection is a classic, Donkey Kong 64. The next game is a game that I spent tons of hours on the N64 playing, and that's Dr. Mario 64. The next game in my collection is Dual Heroes. The next game in my collection is a game that I wish Nintendo made a new game for the Switch, a brand new game, and that is FZero X. The next game in my collection is Fighter Destiny 2. The next game in my collection is Forsaken 64. The next game in my collection is Fox Sports College Hoops 99. The next game in my collection is Goemon's Great Adventure. The next game in my collection is definitely a classic, a game that I have, and I'm pretty sure many of you guys spend hours playing with your friend, and that is GoldenEye 64. The next game in my collection is a wrestling game that there were many wrestling games on the N64. We'll get to some of them, but this one is Hardcore ECW Revolution. The next game in my collection is Harvest Moon 64. The next game in my collection, I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce this. Hexen. Again, I'm pretty sure you guys will correct me down in the comments. The next game in my collection is Hey You Pikachu. The next game in my collection is by far one of my favorite games on the N64, and that is Kirby 64 and the Crystal Shards. Great Kirby game. The next game in my collection is Kobe Bryant in NBA Courtside. The next game in my collection is Mace the Dark Age. The next game in my collection is for all you Madden fans out there, Madden 64. Let's continue the Madden train. Madden 2001. The next game in my collection is Magical Tetris Challenge. The next game in my collection is Major League Baseball featuring Ken Griffey Jr. The next game in my collection is one of the classics of the N64, and that is Mario Kart 64. A great Mario Kart game. Going down the list with more Mario games, Mario Golf. The game that started it all, the first Mario Party. Let's not forget the sequel, Mario Party 2. Another Mario game for you, Mario Tennis. The next game in my collection, Strike Zone. The next game in my collection is Mission Impossible. The next game in my collection is NASCAR 99. The next game in my collection is NBA Courtside 2, featuring Kobe Bryant. The next game is another basketball game, In the Zone 98. The next game is another basketball game, NBA Jam 99. The next game is another sports game with NHL 99. I guess we're going through all the sports games right now because it's NBA Live 99. A lot of 99s. The next game is a classic on the NES, and that is Paperboy. The next game is a classic for a ton of people, and that is Perfect Dark. The next game is a great Pokemon game, and that is Pokemon Snap. The next game, I'm going to show two games, and that is Pokemon Stadium and Pokemon Stadium 2. Now this is a game that me and my friends played a ton of because we were huge Pokemon fans growing up, and we used to play our actual Pokemon from our Pokemon games on the Game Boy on these games. It was amazing. The next game in my collection is Scooby Doo Classic Creep Caper. That's a lot of C's. Scooby Doo Classic Creep Capers. That's how you say it. The next game in my collection is Space Station Silicon Valley. The next game is one of those classics on the N64, and that is Star Fox 64. This is the game that we first experienced rumble in your controller. The next game in my collection is a classic for me, and that is Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. The next game in my collection is also a classic for me because I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and that is Star Wars Rogue Squadron. The next game in my collection is by far the most iconic game on this console, okay? And that is Super Mario 64. The next game in my collection is the game that started it all, and that is Super Smash Bros. Now the next game is by far, it's up there as probably one of, or maybe the worst game of all time, and that is Superman 64. Yes, people, it is that bad. The next game in my collection is considered to be one of, or the best game of all time, and that is The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. And I have the collector's edition, the collector's cartridge, gold cartridge, and the gold and the regular gray cartridge. Really good game. Now to follow up Ocarina of Time, the next game that I'm about to show you is also considered one of the best games of all time, and that is Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. The next game in my collection is the Powerpuff Girls Chemical Extraction. The next game in my collection is Triple Play 2000. The next game in my collection is also considered a classic on the N64, and that is Turok the Dinosaur Hunter. The next game in my collection is Vigilante 8 Second Offense. The next game in my collection is also one of those classics on the N64, and that is Wave Race 64. The next game in my collection is one of those wrestling games that I was telling you about in the beginning of the video, and it's Mayhem. We have another wrestling game for you guys, and that is WCW Nitro. Going down the list of more wrestling games, we have WCW vs. Nitro World Tour. The next game in my collection is Wipeout 64. The next game in my collection is Xena Warrior Princess, the Talisman of Fate. We got another wrestling game for you guys, WWF No Mercy. To finish off my collection, we have another wrestling game for you guys, WWF WrestleMania 2000. Alright guys, I'm going to end the video here. Okay, we've gone through all of my N64 collection. Let me know down in the comments what you think about it, what you didn't like about it, what you liked about it, whether it's a crappy collection, whether it's a great collection, whether it was a stupid collection. I don't get offended. You can say whatever you want down in the comments. Just let's be polite to everyone else in the comments. I don't want to see any fights. That's what I don't agree with, okay? So with that being said, if you like this video, give me the thumbs up, comment down below, and as always, please, 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 do not forget to subscribe. I'll catch you guys on the next episode of Gaming with Nimbus. Deuces.